Welcome back to another episode of The Hunt, and we're excited to bring you some meals that we're going to prep out of the deer that we shot last year. Today we have a heart from the buck that I shot. If you haven't checked that out, please go back and check that out on our channel. I think it's episode 5. The heart is a wonderful cut of meat that I think if you're actually able to bring it out of the field with you, especially if you've got a place where you can hang your deer and stuff like that, you can do a lot with it. One of my favorite things to do is fajitas or tacos. If it's fresh, I like to dice it up and make tacos. If it's been frozen, I like to keep it in strips and do fajitas. So this is actually the heart from the buck that I shot, and we're going to do fajitas with that today. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to clean our heart, okay? So there's a couple little things that you got to learn whenever you're cleaning your heart. There's a lot of stuff on here that you don't want. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to remove the top of this. This is your ventricles, and you're going to want to get rid of those. That's got a lot of the cartilage and stuff like that you don't want. So what I like to do is find where this little flap right here comes in. I'll draw an imaginary line, kind of, well, more diagonal like this, and we're just going to cut through that right there. Okay? You hear that little pop? Cut through that. So this right here is what you're wanting to get rid of. All of this right here, you don't want any of that. Now, we can trim that up later if we want to. And then also, this white, that's all fat, okay? Fat, whenever you talk about a game animal having like a gamey taste or an unpleasant taste, that either comes from one, there's still blood in the meat, or it wasn't allowed to hang, or it wasn't allowed to age, or there's fat. Fat is very unpleasant on game animals. They don't eat like a lot of corn and stuff, which is sweet, which makes their fat sweet, which is why we like it. Deer do eat a lot of corn, but they're also eating a lot of browse and stuff like that, so it's not as palatable. So we want to go ahead and remove that. All right, so now we have our heart pretty much cleaned up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to note there's actually a natural seam right here and right here. What we're going to do is we're going to cut down that, and we're going to come up with 2 pieces of heart. One's going to be a little thicker than the other, and that's okay because we're going to cut it into strips here in a minute. Okay, so then these are the 2 pieces that we end up with. You have your right and your left ventricles. So then we're going to cut this. We're going to cut this right here and open this up like a butterfly steak. All right. Now that we're in the heart, you're going to notice all these little spider web things. If you've ever heard the phrase tugging at my heartstrings, that's what they're referring to, is those little tendons that inside the heart. We want to get rid of those because they are also not palatable. What you'll notice is these veiny structures, that's fine. That's actually just how the muscle is formed in the heart. So those are fine to leave, but you do want to cut out the heartstrings. So now that we've prepped it this far, we've got rid of our heartstrings, we got it cut open. We want to process this down into smaller strips, the actual size that we're going to cook in the skillet. We want to try to get them kind of all the same size. That way they all cook evenly, because we don't want to super overcook the heart. It'll get very, very tough very, very fast. So the cook, we're going to kind of go with a at the most a medium, kind of a medium rare, which is really what you're going to want to go for. All right, so we're going to process this down into the strips, and we're going to start with the small side because that's going to determine how thick we can actually go with it. So we're just going to slice this into roughly 1/4 inch slices. Now I'm going to come back, one more good slice. Now with our thicker side, it's going to take a little bit more work. We're going to slice this up into some bigger pieces. And then what I like to do is lay it thick side down like that. And go ahead and just give it a slice and kind of thin that out a little bit. You can also lay it on its side if you're comfortable. Slice it like so. And what that's doing is that's just bringing that down to thinner, to be more along the lines of the thinner side of the heart that we cut. So what you're going to want to do now is go ahead and salt the meat. So first we're going to start off with some nice sweet bell peppers. The smaller ones usually work best. 1 whole medium to large onion, red or white. We're going to use white today. Cheddar cheese. Cumin, about 2 tablespoons. Blackened seasoning, 1 tablespoon. Black pepper, I prefer rough cracked, about 1 tablespoon. Coarse salt, about 1 tablespoon. Paprika, 2 to 2.5 tablespoons to taste. Crushed red pepper, 2 tablespoons. Cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons, but you can back it off to 1 tablespoon if you're not quite into the heat. The last thing we're going to put in is 1 tablespoon of sugar. That's really going to help with the caramelization of your onions and your peppers.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like more content like this, leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to get notifications when we drop a new video. We'll see you next time.